Hi, folks. Okay, so we're going to run through our assignment after reviewing that lecture. So under week 9, we've got our user flow assignment. So we're going to be creating an ice cream vendor app. So in the assignment, you're going to create a task-based user flow diagram for a small new ice cream vendor that offers curbside. User flow will take into account all the scenarios a user would face when selecting sizes, flavors, and cone types. So they're a small startup company offering 6 flavors per day that change every day. So you can give 6 different or funny ideas or names of different ice creams. That's up to you to be creative. The cone sizes, we've got meh, average, and yeah, baby. You can create your own as well if you feel that those are maybe not super clear. You can be a little bit more creative if you'd like, so feel free to have some fun there. Our cone types, you've got the flat bottom cone, sugar cone, waffle cone. They do offer curbside pickup. They also have a feature that is a randomatic option that chooses your flavor and size. So for instance, instead of going through the process of selecting your flavor and cone type, you would hit randomatic and then you would essentially be plunked right down to the shopping cart. A payment online through the checkout system allows, that tells you when they'll be outside to do your order. And then always a member sign up. So that member sign up could be, you could have the option to do so. That could happen perhaps to even use the app. You have to land there. So it's up to you to decide if that's going to be part of your initial onboarding or if that's maybe an opt-in that happens later on. I would like you to create an objective statement that explains the process you're proposing, identifying the stage of the process, why you feel it works. Now you're welcome to use anything that you would like to create this in. I suggest either Miro or InVision. They all have tools to kind of make your sitemaps look really professional, kind of a little bit fancy. Takes the work out of you going and clicking all those little arrows yourself through, say, InDesign or Illustrator. They're all free, so use what you feel is best. Always providing alternate paths or / multiple paths to complete a task if necessary. So mentioned several times before, there should always be more ways than one to add something to cart, to go back into a process, to head back home, etc. As I just mentioned, allow the user to jump back into the process. That's relevant always. So if you're in step 4 of adding, say, toppings, for instance, on your ice cream, if you need to get back to the previous step, you never want to have just start over. It should be just being able to essentially just go back. Sadly, that's often missed. Always, your designers will make it look like a designer made this. It should look professional, clean, easy to read, and organized. The objective statement can either be right on the document with the flow, or it can be a separate page. And then all content from the brief obviously is considered. Submitting that PDF, so it's 1 page with the objective on there, or perhaps 2 pages if you put the objective on its own page. Obviously, your flow should just be on 1 page. File size doesn't matter, as you're just handing in a PDF. You can look at the breakdown for your grading there. If we go back to our week 9 module, so again, there's our assignment. This is due on the 23rd, so you've got quite some time to work on that. We do have some examples here that I'll go over, and please note that there is a quiz there as well. I've noticed that some people are missing the quizzes. I know it's tough to keep all of that stuff on our brains, but please do ensure that you keep those in mind. So saying that, some of the examples here, number 1, I wouldn't say are designed beautifully. I think there's other ways that we could make some of these look a little cleaner, look a little bit more professional. But from the standpoint of the actual flow, done quite well. So for this person's flow here, they broke it up into the initial onboarding process, the ordering process, and the checkout process. I think that was a great way to do that because all 3 steps are quite in depth. So being able to break them up into these sections was good. So you can take a look at this. So either signing in, thinking about passwords and becoming a member, etc. All of these things confirming. So lots of in-depth information on this one, which is great. And then you're ready to order. This area should probably be somewhat easy-ish. But again, you've got your options, then making sure we keep in mind that random option. This person said randomatic and then an area to customize as well. Editing. Again, there's so many ways you can do this, so there's no real right and wrong. It's up to you to find out what you think is the best, and also still simplistic. This one here from a flow standpoint, I think was done quite well. I like that they have a legend here noting the different areas. The text is quite small on this, so I do think that this is a little too hard to read. It is quite spaced out, which is nice from the standpoint of being able to see all the sections, but also quite large for a small-ish site to be able to really just kind of get a good idea of the process. So I think looking at these initially looks a little bit daunting, but I promise you, once you start actually outlining your pages, doing a quick sketch, it will be quite clear as to and easy-ish to outline it. So here's another good example there. This person, what I liked, did some different dietary restrictions. So again, that wasn't outlined, but they felt important, which I think was quite good. And then here's another really good one. Here's our vendor app here. Do they have an account? Yes, no. I like that they have the options of the yes and no here flow, and showing where all of those connect you to, almost like a choose your own adventure when you think of the user flow, using the randomatic or your custom. Again, for instance, this person, you either have all your options or your randomatic and then your options. Same thing, this person takes you right to the randomatic and you essentially say yes or no. And then they go through all of the areas here. And again, a nice legend to show what all of those sections mean. So take a look at that. Like I said, I think it does look a little bit daunting, but I think once you get things outlined yourself, they will work quite well. So making sure that you think about being able to go back. So you should always be able to step back in your process and just note how these were done, have a little fun. And I look forward to seeing your work then.